Alright, let's move on to the next derivative. Alright, the next subtopic I would like to share with you how to differentiate implicit differentiation. Let's refer to this question. Differentiate implicitly each of the following equation. What is find dy dx? Ways we need to differentiate respect to dx. Question number A. Okay, we have been given that x squared plus y squared minus 5x equals to 12. How to differentiate this? I don't want you to be confused. Okay, let me write it down one by one derivative. So we have a total of together 1. Okay, total of together 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 derivatives with respect to the x. So d over dx first, second, third, and the last one, fourth. And this is the first derivative is the d over dx for the x squared and plus d over dx for the y squared minus d over dx of 5x equals d over dx of 12. Apa yang Miss buat dekat sini? I just log in d over dx, d over dx, d over dx, d over dx separately. If I have 4 terms, so I put down 4d over dx. Okay, now how we differentiate this? Okay, how to differentiate x squared? Okay, let's differentiate for the first part. Differentiate x squared, we're going to have that this equal to 2x. Okay, next is, can you refer now? This is the x and this is the x. Where is this is the 2x? This is actually dx over dx. Okay, alright, nampak susah? Tak apa, kita tengok dulu baik-baik. Okay, plus how to differentiate y squared? Okay, how to differentiate y squared is a very simple one. How you do this? You just differentiate by using the power rule. Okay, how you differentiate x squared? So do the same way with the y squared. So you have that this equal to 2y. Okay, careful. But now, what is the yellow color? What is the white color? Oh no, what is the red color? Whereas now you have in terms of y, so this is dy dx. Okay, minus differentiate over 5x. Differentiate over 5x, you're going to have 5. So you have to look at what variable we have. This is x and x. So we have that this is the dx over dx. Final one. Let's differentiate the 12. This is very simple. Differentiate without any unknown of it. Differentiate in constant. So the answer is equal to 0. Okay, now, by referring to this case, what you have here, this dx over dx, we know that dx over dx, so they will turn to the 1. Okay, so this dx over dx, they will turn to the 1. Okay, so if dx over dx, we have no problem. But if dy dx, they are not same, so you will have to hold the dy dx. Next is you have this equal to 2x is a plus 2y. Okay, this is not same, you cannot cancel it out. Okay, actually it's not a cancel, but jangan pening-pening, kita guna je. Okay, so minus by 5 equals to 0. Okay, next procedure is, of course, you have to simplify this and let's answer the question. Okay, what you have to do, you just move the no dy dx part to the 2y dy dx. So this equals to, okay, this is negative 5, so you have positive 5. This is 2x, now this is minus by 2x. Finally, okay, you will have that, what we have here, this is the y. So you have that dy dx equals to 5 minus 2x. This is the divide by 2. You know that the concept is a multiply, so to cancel in the multiply is the divide by. Alright, the question is, let's find out the dy dx. So you can manipulate this into the part of dy dx. So we have that dy dx. Okay, this equals to what is the 5 minus by 2x and divided by 2y. Or you can bring all this part into become divided by 2y to have this result. Okay, so you can have the final answer is maybe can have 5 divided by 2y and minus by this is 2x is divided by 2y. Next you have 5 over 2 dy power negative 1 and minus x over y. This is okay, okay? Let's move on to the question number B, okay? Let's look at how many terms we have. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I would like to slot in our d over dx. So d over dx first, d over dx second, and d over dx third. Next, we have d over dx of x cubed equals to d over dx of 5 minus d over dx of the y squared. Okay, how we differentiate this? Okay, this is a power rule, alright? So you gotta have that is equal to 3x squared. And look at this variable x and x. So you will have that this equals to differentiate of the x respect to x equals differentiate of the 5 is to become a constant 0. And differentiate of the y squared, this is applying of the power rules. So you have that this equal to 2y. Okay, but careful, what variable you differentiate here? This is the differentiate of the y variable, so you have that this is dy dx. Okay, now what you have to do, okay, let's certainly now simplify this. You will have that, we are going to have that this is 3x squared, this is dx over dx, you know that is equals to 1. So you have that the 0, this is equal to minus to the 2 dy dx. Okay, the question is asked us to manipulate or find the dy dx. So you can manipulate this. So you will have that this is the dy dx equals to 3x squared divided by negative 2y. Done. Let's move on to the question number C. So we have three terms here, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, how we do this? Okay, I would like to slot in this equals to d over dx. What is for x squared y plus d over dx for xy squared equals d over dx. Now, this is the differentiate of the 3. Okay, how we do this, all right? To differentiate this part, is you have to be very careful. It's not all about the power rule. Now, we would like to use the product rules. So, why we say the product rule? Because now, if this is the case of the x squared is times to the y, so we have know that this is u and times to the v. So, you have to use u v prime plus v u prime. Alright, now how to differentiate the u? Okay, so now for this case, we have that u equals x squared. Let's differentiate the u. Okay, let's find out the u prime. Then we have that differentiate x squared. The result is 2x. Next, differentiate for the v. So v equals to y. So the v prime equals to differentiate of the y. We're going to have that dy dx. Now we have to use the concept of what we call that. This is a product rules, okay? This is a product rule where it's u times v prime plus v times u prime. Okay, let's solve all these things. So we have that this equal to u is x squared times v prime is dy dx plus v now is a y and u prime now is 2x. All right? So this is the derivative for the first term. Let's have the second term. For the second term, purple color, u equals to x and v equals to y squared. Okay, let's differentiate of the u. Differentiate of the u, so we have u prime equals to differentiate of the x equals to 1. Next, let's differentiate of the v. So we have v prime equals to differentiate of y squared. So we have that this is 2y. Okay, careful. Now you have terms of the y. So you have to slot in the dy dx. Okay, next is what we have here. We have the formula. This must be u v prime plus v u prime. Okay, the relationship in between is a positive. So you put down a positive. So let's slot in and plot all this. And substitute all these u and v primes. Okay, so you have that u times the x, v prime is 2y dy dx, and plus the v is y squared, and the u prime equals to 1. Okay, let's settle down this. So you have that this equal to x squared dy dx plus 2xy and plus, so we have that this is 2xy dy dx. Okay, and this is the plus, okay, plus, so you have plus y squared. And all these things, don't forget, we have to differentiate the 3. So differentiate of the 3 is equal to 0. So this is equal to 0. Okay, now let's simplify this. Okay, how we do this? Okay, the next case is you just arrange all the part of dy dx. So this is dy dx. If no dy dx, let's swap into another side. So we have that this becomes, now this become the x squared dy dxt and plus 2xy dy dxt. And you have these two clear, so you have that this negative y squared and minus 2xy. And this also dy dx, we can factorize this. Okay, let's factorize this. So we have that dy dx equals, okay, this is times, okay, this is times where is x squared plus 2xy equals, okay, I think that the negative also can be factorized, or you would like to state it's okay, negative y squared minus 2xy. And finally, we have that dy dx equals negative y squared minus 2xy. Next is divided by, this is the x squared plus 2xy. If you would like to factorize, it's also okay. If you would like to state, it's also okay. But I think that it's better to factorize, okay? So let's factorize this. So we have that dy dx equals to negative y times y and plus 2x divided by x squared plus 2xy. So this can be factored for x. So you have that this is equal to x and plus 2y. Okay, done. Okay, everybody, let's move on to the last question. All right, so I don't want to be confused. I repeat back. We have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 terms. So let's slot in d over dx. And for tangent x equals to d over dx. Differentiate respect to x for x. So and plus differentiate of the y respect to x. So we have 3d over dx. I hope that everybody still remember how to differentiate the tangent. Okay, differentiate tangent. So the result is secant square x. Differentiate of the x. So you have that this equals to 1. And where is now you have that this is the term or unknown of the term of x. So you will have that this is dx over dx. But if you don't want, okay, if you don't want to write it out, this is also okay. Okay, we can have that this is also equals to 1. Okay. Alright, so let's move on. This equals to differentiate of x is equals to 1. Okay, this is a term, same term. So dx over dx. So we know that this equals to 1. Okay, and then final is plus by differentiate of the y. So you gotta have that. This is the different terms. So you have that this is the dy dx. Okay, how we do this, all right? The question is asked us to find out dy dx, so you can manipulate this and become subject. So we have that this is equals to dy dx equals secant square x minus 1. Okay, so hashtag. Oh, this also can be simplified, right? You can use the identity. Okay, please refer back your what is your lecture notes. Okay, secant square minus by 1. I think this can be simplified, right? Okay, but if you would like to stay with here, this is also okay. Okay. Alright, this is the final answer if you use the identity.